Welcome back, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. This time, we're going to do something we haven't done in a while on this channel, Dustin. Comparison. And a comparison I think that everyone would like to know. Basically, Ardbeg 19, the first version, the 2019, compared to the recently released 2020 version, which Dustin was able to pick up. Are they different? They're supposed to have batch variations. Dustin, both 46.2% ABV. What do you think, bud?
I think we're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, so what we're going to do here is we're going to pour the 19-year-old on our right, your left, and to make it simpler to remember that, we'll keep the bottles on either side of us to show what side of the glass we're doing that whiskey on. So if that doesn't make sense, probably because it shouldn't have. The 2019 is right over here, and it will be on the right-hand side here and here, where the 2020 will be on Dustin's side, and they'll be right here and here. Since this is my bottle and that's your bottle, Dustin, you were able to pick up the 2020 version pretty quickly on an online website that we'll keep anonymous, but I was happy that you did. And question that I wanted to know, will these batches have really, truly variation on them the way they said they were?
Yeah, now, I mean, the first thing you will notice, Mike, if you check the label.
A little different.
So they give you tasting notes on those, not just, the label.
Yeah.
So this one says fresh lime, roasted tea leaves, smoked pineapple.
Yeah, that's the new version of the 2020, where this 2019 version, its supposed tasting notes are smoky pineapple, chili chocolate, and aromatic wood smoke. Now, Dustin, you and I reviewed the 2019. It's not yet posted, but it will be coming here in the coming weeks just on this particular whiskey.
Yep.
And we didn't get quite that, but, new day. Let's see if we pick up something different.
Yeah.
And let's compare it to the newer version of it, which to me, I can always pick out flavors a little bit better once I have two whiskeys sitting side by side.
That is always the best way to compare two similar whiskeys.
Two similar whiskeys, yes. So since they are natural color, non-chill filtered, let me just say it's a very close color comparison, but the 2019, meaning last year's, is a little bit darker.
I can't even pick up a difference here, but
Slightly darker.
yeah, these are both American Oak and Oloroso.
So the cask maturation should be similar, but again, very close in color, light champagne color, I would say. So we'll get into it. Again, both 46.2% ABV.
All right, Mike, I've already forgotten here. One more time on the whiskeys.
Okay, so on your left, your right, is the 2020.
20.
And then obviously the other one is the 19. So we're getting to smelling these now. I won't spoil too much about the individual review of the 2019 19-year-old, but we got a lot of lemon lime, a lot of the typical Ardbeg 10 type of flavors.
Yep, I think we've got a very distinct difference here in the noses right off the bat, Mike.
Give it to me.
So on the 19, I'm getting more of a slightly older oak. I'm getting more darkness, a little bit more maybe chocolate. It's much less vibrant, whereas the 2020 is vibrant, it's fresher, it is more citrus, it's a little more explosive on the nose.
It is. Now, just to be completely transparent, we have had the 2019 version opened up longer than obviously the 2020. Yep. So it's had a little more time to oxidize, so it's not a true exact comparison, but we're gonna get as close as we can for you.
Yep.
I will say, I got a lot of lemon and lime off the 19 initially. I'm getting more of that off the 2020. It is more lemon, lime, citrus fruit to me on that as compared to the 19. And I didn't really get a lot of chocolatey notes on the 2019 version, but comparing them back and forth, I do get a little more chocolate.
Yeah, I really wasn't picking up because I think they make the reference to chocolate and chili. And when I first had it, I was kind of like, I get the pineapple. I'm with you there, guys, but I'm not with you so much on that. Comparing them side by side, I am definitely starting to get, still not getting spice here though, Mike. I mean, are you getting any like chili, spice, or pepper?
I mean, I'm not getting anything that would make me think chili anything.
Yeah, no.
Nothing tangy, nothing. When I think chili, I think hot, I think spicy, I think, maybe I might get a bite here. So I might bite back.
Yeah, I'm getting really no spice on either of these, but I do get a nice chocolate. It's got like a little bit more oak. A little more oak on the old one. Yeah,
it almost smells like the first version, 2019 version. It almost feels like there may be slightly older whiskeys in this, maybe whiskeys that are 21, 22 years old in that. I might be wrong. Actually, I almost would have to be because they just started doing the distillate in 2000, did they not?
Yeah, I mean, if there's going to be older whiskey, it's got to be in the new version.
Yeah,
and that's just going to be some 20-year and 19.
Yeah, so I don't know where the oakiness would come from, maybe other than a little bit better cask maturation.
Well, or it could just be that this one's got more aroma in general, and it's covering up the oak because this one's a little lighter, a little more muted. So all I'm really getting, that oak's kind of like all that's left.
This is sort of I almost feel like the sherry influence maybe is a little bit more dominant in the 19 as compared to this newer version. I mean, you're right, the newer version's poppier. It almost smells like it's a higher ABV, although we know it's not. It almost reminds me of the difference between the Lefroy 25, the 2017, compared to the 2018. The 18 is a little bit more of an ABV, but it's only bourbon cask matured, where you can really pick out more of the sherry flavored notes and a little bit more of the dark chocolate in the 19.
Well, I get the kind of dark chocolate that's probably from sherry casks on the 19. On the 20, though, we always talk about lemon lime and citrus on the 10, which is all bourbon. However, this one is even more fruity, and I'm thinking that the sherry casks are probably playing a little role in that.
It may be more active sherry cask. I just don't know if it's many used, I guess would be my guess.
Yeah, but I think there's some sherry playing a role in that lemon lime note we're getting here because there's a lot of fruitiness, a lot of citrus, a whole lot.
Yeah, it's very, very citrus Ardbeg 10-ish, the new one.
Yeah, no, but I do think the pineapple they talk about is definitely there.
A firm pineapple.
Yeah, and I will say I get more lime than lemon here as well.
I probably agree with that.
Yeah, I mean it's punchy. I mean it's punchy on the fruit. I mean it really. And I'm getting a little menthol, a little mint.
Something cooling, yes.
We haven't mentioned the word peat yet on either of these, but I mean it's kind of got that nice, just traditional Ardbeg on both of them. I mean I think that's pretty consistent.
A little bit of the metallic is coming through on the 2020 version.
Yeah, I get a little less metallic, but I think it's there on the 19 as well.
All right, I'm going for the first sip. I'm going to try the new one first.
Okay. And I will do the same.
The flavor's pretty consistent with 2019. I mean, when they say batch variants, I was expecting a little bit different. I mean, it does seem to be the sweetness from that lime seems to be amped up in this one quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, well, let's go into the 19 before we get too far, but I'm telling you right now, this finish is good.
Yeah, it is. It's very...
It's still there, and it's full powered still.
Yeah, it comes off very... The sweetness from the fruits, especially that lime, comes off extremely prominent on the palate. Just bang, instantly, right off the bat. And then it kind of settles into a nice vanilla.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm still tasting it. I got a little bit of oak on... we mentioned oak more on the 19 on the nose, but I'm still getting like vanilla and oak right now on the 20. I mean, it's still getting.
Oh yeah, no, it's really driving those flavors home. Maybe it's old whiskey in this one. I don't know. It's hard to. Well, it's hard when they're so close.
Let's get back into the 19 and see what we get.
Yep.
So right away, Mike, these are different whiskeys. You know what? I am getting spices on the finish here. I am getting that chocolate. I'm getting menthol.
There's something cooling in that 19.
Yeah.
Almost like a menthol cigarette, almost like cooling.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of heat on my in the chest here, which I don't usually get on these 46ers.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's definitely doesn't come off as punchy as the 20, as the newer one, and I can definitely pick up more of that, like those chocolate notes in it. There's no doubt about that. But it feels not as aggressive on the palate. But as soon as you swallow, you get more of like an alcohol burn.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. Now I'm also, the finish is not as long.
No, it's a little choppy. And you would think with the bottle being open a little bit longer.
That would
help. Yeah, because, it's halfway done. I mean, it's not like, it's the last pour of the bottle or anything. But, you would think that the alcohol kind of burn as it goes down would be lessened some, and it's actually the opposite.
No, it's got a little more heat here, but the finish is, it's fine. And I get more traditional Ardbeg, kind of that peaty, what are the best words to describe Ardbeg's peat versus somebody else's, but it's definitely getting more Ardbeg peat on the finish here.
It's a little more mineral, in my opinion. Mineral metallic as compared to Lefroy and Lagavulin.
Yeah, but it's shorter. It's much shorter. The 20 had a much longer finish, which is making me think older whiskey.
Yeah, you're right. Initially, I said it was almost like something was older in the 19, which, just thinking about it for a second, it couldn't be. It did have a more regal nose to it than the new one did. And that could be some of the punchiness. You know what I mean? That could do some of the punchiness and kind of, I think, same age, something's a little bit gentler. That like caress the whiskey a little bit more. But again, on the nose, I felt like we were splitting hairs to a certain degree. On the palate, it is quite a bit different. There is such a difference as far as some of the flavors on it. And I got to tell you, I don't mind telling you, the newer one, I prefer the palate on that by a decent margin.
Right now, yeah. And, we're going back in, you just added water here. And I think, you're getting the same distinctions. The 20 continues to be more citrus, more lemon lime, more a little more menthol, whereas the 19 is more that chocolate, more of the kind of.
The casks are not as active on the 19 as they were with this new version of the 20. At least it feels that way to me now. The 20 feels like it's performing at a higher RPM, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is a little more sherry influence on the 19.
Yeah,
Not, but the oak's not as there, and then again, that's making me again lean towards the 20. Maybe they did sneak in some 20-year-old whiskey in here.
Yeah, maybe they did, and maybe just on the 19 they used more first fill or more, more active sherry casks on it. I mean, again, it couldn't be older, but it was something that it gave it a little bit more of a sherry punch. Now, again, I still say on the nose they're similar, but there's not the difference as far as the gap between nose and taste. So we're going to go back into the taste. Again, we'll do it in the same way. We'll do the 2020 first and move over the 19.
So right away, the 20 is a little bit saltier, a little bit more peaty now. A little bit more oak tannin. We've obviously lost a little bit of richness here. But the finish is going really strong again. I mean, it's still, it's a nice finish.
It did become a salty dog with some water. You know, it reminds me of that 2017 Lagavulin Jazz Fest.
Okay.
When you had a little bit of water. I mean, not quite to that extent.
Yeah, well, I mean, those are cask strength bottles. These aren't.
Sure, sure. But I mean, they have got way saltier, but that definitely took a turn for the coast.
Yeah. No, it brought out that brine and salt, which I think is always kind of a trait you really want to get in these older peated whiskeys.
Sure, but I still say, although it's nice to explore, I still say I prefer the 20 neat.
100% agree.
All right, 19. Second dip. What do you think?
19 just got sweeter. Ooh. Up front, I really am enjoying what the 19's giving us. A lot of sweetness. Got the chocolates. There's a little bit of spice. I'm still not with them on chili, but a lot of smoked pineapple for sure.
Pineapple for sure. Firm pineapple.
Yeah.
Maybe with some cinnamon on it.
Yeah.
Little drizzle.
I think cinnamon spice maybe versus Ardbeg's chili spice.
Yeah, chili spice. Yeah, it almost comes off like a cinnamon, like a dusting.
Yeah.
Right there at the top. So I will say with water on the 2019 version, I could go either way. I mean, I like it both ways. It does get a little bit sweeter. That spice does come up a little bit more with a few drops of water. 2020 version, I absolutely like it neat better.
I agree, actually. Because there's more richness up front on the 20 without the water. And I think the 19's a little richer on the front end anyway.
Oh,
but it's all about the finish for me on the 20, and that's so much better. And again, it's a little bolder.
Yeah, no, I tell you what, I like the arrival and I like the finish, on that quite a bit as well. So this isn't, again, anytime I do comparison review, this really isn't a whiskey score type of scenario. It's just simply, if someone else was picking up the tab at the bar, you can have either drink, so it doesn't matter to you which one are you taking at the bar. And I'm going to tell you, Dustin, which one I'm taking, but I want to hear your thoughts first.
It's the 2020. I did this right when I first got the bottle, did them side by side, came to that conclusion, and today I'm still there. It's got a better finish. It's a little bolder up front. If you want something a little more sweet, maybe you get the 19.
Yeah, this is very reminiscent of when they came out with the 20-something series. I really liked the new 21. I thought that was a good whiskey, but I preferred the 23 and the 22. Its predecessors, excuse me, the ones that came after it. The ones that came after it, I thought were better whiskeys, and I think the same thing here. I think this was a good first attempt. I think that adds a little bit more. It's really more of what I guess I kind of expected out of Ardbeg, the newer version of the 19. So if you were able to invest in this 19-year-old and you thought it was a good whiskey, I think this is a small tick up, maybe a point better if we were rating them.
Yeah, I think I'd probably end up scoring about the same, but that's kind of because I thought the 19 was a really low. I think I gave it like an 88 or something.
Yeah, I can't remember.
And this one's probably a higher 88, but they're pretty close.
Yeah, they're pretty close. Again, if I had my choice between the two, we're at a bar, I'm picking the new version.
But for those of you looking to buy one of these bottles or making the decision, hey, I don't know if that was a $300 bottle. This is a new one. Is it different?
Not that much.
I think it's different enough that it justifies it if you really like Ardbeg.
How much more? Like okay, say you thought, like we did, this was too much to pay $300 for, but we'd say we paid $200 for it.
Yeah.
What would you pay for that? If you paid $200 for this, what would you pay for that? $230, $240?
Yeah, I think that's the range.
Well, what I'm saying is, would you pay that much extra for a bottle of this compared to that?
Well, again, because I've not had it, that's where the value comes in.
Sure.
Is you want to have that first time, that new bottle. To me, the new bottle value, it's right there. I think it's worth buying a second bottle if you really are an Ardbeg fan.
Or you're collecting them.
Yeah, or you collect. Yeah,
I mean, for between $200 and $300, that's where we got these bottles roughly. For over $200 for that, $300 for this. I don't know if I'm not collecting these things.
Yeah.
They're not that good. They're not that level of whiskey, in my opinion.
As long as I can get them for in the 200 range, which is
Low 200s.
Yeah, which is what I paid for this one. That's great. I know the U.S. release, Mike, is going to be 300 plus.
I'm not paying for it.
Yeah.
If I can find it for that price, I'd do it. But yeah, I'm not going on my.
But also, Ardbeg's probably your least favorite of the Isles.
Bowmore.
Okay, of the big three. Let's be real.
Yes, it is.
So there's only three that matter.
So take that for what it's worth. Anyway, that's our thoughts on the Ardbeg 19, the 2019 compared to the 2020. If you're looking to get the new one, those are just our thoughts. I know they just kind of started hitting the shelves now. So if you were searching YouTube to try to figure out if it's worth picking up the bottle or how much of batch variance there is, there it is.
Yep.
We want to once again thank you for joining for another whiskey review and this time a comparison. And Dustin, until next time, what do we wish the folks?
Happy drinking.
See you next time.